Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Dr. Ghost and today we are back on World of Warships Legends. Today we are going to be revisiting the Tier 5 Premium American Battleship USS West Virginia BB-48. That's right. And it's kind of funny because we did a Texas video yesterday. Same map, same spawn. It's kind of like deja vu here. Also, we got an AFK destroyer right at the beginning of the game, because of course we do. So we're gonna have a little bit of lack of spotting at the beginning. Don't worry though, we got a suicidal kamikaze Aoba with us, a cruiser that's gonna charge straight into Charlie and spot for us and get himself killed, which is kind of funny, but oh well, it happens, right? But yeah, the West Virginia has been in the game for a little bit. There's also right now currently the West Virginia 44 that came out this update as well. And you guys can pick it up, I think, if you get lucky out of the bundles, if I recall. You know, the little, like, gambling mechanic they got in the store. I really could care less. It's basically the 44 version from 1944 with all the modernizations and the extra AA put at Tier 6. That's basically what the West Virginia 44 is. Now, the West Virginia right here is the 30s version, 20s version. It's basically the pre-Pearl Harbor modernization West Virginia. So it's basically the pre-war West Virginia. Now, before we get into the gameplay, while we're just, again, sailing around doing our thing, I am going to go over a bit of the history with the West Virginia. So the West Virginia is a 32,600-ton Colorado-class battleship built at Newport News, Virginia, and she was commissioned in December of 1923. That's right. This ship is an oldie as well. A lot of these American battleships were old battleships. I mean, Texas being the oldest, it's actually still around today. We did a video yesterday on that. Make sure you guys go watch that video. But, yeah, the West Virginia was commissioned in 1923 in December. And she is a Colorado-class battleship. And if you guys don't know, we have the Colorado in the game as well at Tier 6. I'm sure most of you guys know the Colorado. But, yeah, the last battleship that was completed for the United States Navy for nearly 2 decades. So, yeah, pretty interesting there. During the late 1920s and early 1930s, she served in the U.S. fleet, taking part in fleet problems and other exercises as part of the continuing effort to develop tactics and maintain the Navy's combat readiness. With much of the rest of the fleet, she deployed to New Zealand and Austria in 1925 in an important demonstration of Navy's Trans-Pacific strategic reach. West Virginia's base was moved to Pearl Harbor in 1940. And she was there on December 7th, 1941, when the Japanese attacked with an overwhelming force of aircraft carrier planes. I'm sure most of you guys know Pearl Harbor, aka the day where the Japanese touched our boats, and we promptly made them quickly regret that decision by, well, a few years later, dropping the sun on them. Anyway, in that raid during Pearl Harbor, the battleship West Virginia was hit by 2 bombs and at least 7 torpedoes, which blew huge holes in her port side. Skillful damage control saved her from capsizing, but she quickly sank to harbor bottom in Pearl Harbor. So that's right, the West Virginia did actually sink. She sunk, but they managed to bring her back up. Okay, we'll talk about more of that later. But more than 100 of her crew were lost during the sinking of the West Virginia during Pearl Harbor. Salvaged and given temporary repairs at Pearl Harbor Navy Yard in April of 1943, West Virginia steamed to the West Coast for final repair and modernization at the Puget Sound Navy Yard. So after Pearl Harbor, after she was attacked, after she was sunk, we managed to bring her back up, get her repaired, and sent her off to California, and managed to get her further repaired and basically got her completely remodernized into what she is, aka the West Virginia 44, with the new radars and everything. At the time, okay, during the remodernization of the USS West Virginia, the West Virginia was the most modern battleship in the entire world, I think. Like, in terms of radar, firing control, and all that. Even more so when the Iowas came out. The West Virginia was actually more modern than the Iowas. That's right. So it's kind of insane just how much we modernized this thing. We basically gave it the USS California treatment. If you guys don't know the California at Tier 5, make sure you guys go check that ship out. But it's got insane torpedo belt, really good secondaries, insane AA. It's got all the modernizations. Basically, the West Virginia and most of the battleships at Pearl Harbor did get this same treatment in terms of modernizations and all of that. Now, the battleship West Virginia emerged from the shipyard in July of 1944, completely changed in appearance, with a wider hull because of obviously the torpedo bulge that was put on there, and massively improved anti-aircraft gun battery. Yeah, this thing was just blistering in firepower. Basically, guys, after Pearl Harbor, the U.S. Navy got super paranoid, and we were like, yeah, we're going to quickly go and change everything around and get things to where they need to be. Now, West Virginia arrived in the Pacific Combat Zone in October and soon was participating in pre-invasion bombardment of Leyte in the Philippines. On October 25th, as a force of Japanese battleships and smaller vessels attempted to make a night attack on the landing area, she was one of the ships that stopped them in the Battle of Surigao Strait, the last time in world history when battleships engaged battleships with their big guns. Subsequently, West Virginia took part in operations to capture Mindoro, Lingayen Gulf, Iwo Jima, and Okinawa, using her 16-inch guns to support U.S. ground forces. On April 1st, 1945, while off Okinawa, she was hit by a Japanese kamikaze plane, but was able to remain in action, continuing her bombardment duties there into June. After Japanese capitulation, West Virginia supported the occupation effort until mid-September. She participated in Operation Magic Carpet during the last part of 1945, bringing home veterans of the Pacific War. Inactive after early 1946, she was decommissioned in January of 1947. Following 12 years in the Pacific Reserve Fleet, USS West Virginia was sold for scrapping in August of 1959. And that is a little bit of the history of the West Virginia. I tried to wrap it up there at the end because we've been talking about the history now for like 5 minutes. But there's a lot more to the history. But basically all you guys need to know is the West Virginia was everywhere during World War II in the Pacific for the United States. After they bombed the West Virginia, we managed to get this baby right back up and running. We remodernized her, revamped her, gave her all the good shit. And she was out there battling bitches and slinging shells in the Battle of Surigao Strait, aka the last battleship on battleship engagement. It was an absolute freaking blast that this ship was able to just do all this after getting sunk. And USS West Virginia was not the only ship that was actually sunk. Like, literally, this ship, a lot of our ships were quote-unquote sunk, but we managed to bring them back up and rearm them, repair them, get them remodernized, and send them back out there to give the Japanese hell. So there you go. A little bit of history there with the West Virginia. Now let's focus on the gameplay here. So far we've had a pretty good game. Now, the first few salvos, the accuracy was very questionable. That's a problem I run in a lot with the West Virginia. The accuracy is just wonky as fuck. I mean, it really is. But at the end of the day, these are still 16-inch guns, so if they hit where they need to, these guns can be absolutely disgusting. And you know what? There's a saying. With a little bit of RNG and a little bit of luck, anything is possible, ladies and gentlemen, and that definitely applies to the West Virginia. As you guys can see there, we just absolutely smacked the fuck out of that New Mexico with these 16-inch guns. And the funny thing about these 16-inch guns at this tier is they overmatch pretty much every single battleship. They are 16-inch guns at Tier 5. Most Tier 5 and even Tier 6 ships only have like a 25mm bow. Therefore, these guns have no problems just smacking things around like crazy. So if you get a little bit of luck, a little bit of RNG, a little bit of decent stuff happening for you, this thing can be an absolute demon, straight up. But again, it's a battleship at the end of the day, and it is a trolley battleship, so it, shit can happen. This thing can be very frustrating. But when things actually work together pretty well for you, it's not a bad time. It's a pretty good battleship. And honestly, I would just recommend getting this over like the West Virginia 44. Like, yeah, the West Virginia 44 has all that extra AA and stuff, but is it really worth it putting it up at Tier 6 and dealing with all the bullshit? I don't know. But anyways, that is the end of the battle there. 149,000 damage, not too bad. Confederate high caliber, top of the leaderboard with 2,500 base XP. Not too shabby. I mean, hey, I'll take it, man. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to go ahead and do it there. Here's the commander build. I'm running William Sims. We got Andrew Cunningham and Otto Ciliax as inspirations. We are running Flammable Cannoneer, Gyrating Drill Bits, Marksmanship, Reaching Out, XXL, and Fight Fire with Fire. He's a fully leveled up, rank 4, 16 captain. And nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is the West Virginia. USS West Virginia, BB-48. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button, subscribe, all the jazz. And I will catch you guys on the next one. See yas.